When I saw my adopted daughter being dragged into the alley by those thugs, I just kept walking. That's because last time when I jumped in to protect her, I ended up brutally beaten, with injuries that messed me up for life, and a face that was ruined. I lost the 3-month-old baby I was carrying. And get this, she immediately started spreading rumors about how I was a slut, all to get her hands on the business empire I'd spent years building. She even rigged a gas leak at home. A perfect accident. As I was gasping my last breath, she had the nerve to snarl. Here's a secret. Your hubby and I have been hooking up for ages. Now all your money is ours. This time around, I'm choosing to stay out of it. I woke up with a jolt. Back before that whole disaster destroyed my life, I was leaving a meeting, rushing to pick up my darling daughter Ashley. A simple left turn would lead right to that alley. Sure enough, there they were. A bunch of guys with neon hair yanking on a girl, Ashley. She was screaming, fighting, shaking like a leaf. People passing by didn't want any trouble. These punks were known around here. Low-level thugs who worked for some local crime boss, and this neighborhood was a dump. This kind of thing was practically normal. Last time I'd seen this and lost my head, charging in to rescue Ashley. Who the hell are you? Butt out, one of them yelled. I'm her mother. You better leave her alone now, or I'm calling the cops. Ashley flipped out, more than the thugs did, begging me not to call the police. The guys looked me up and down smirking. Wow, didn't know this was her mom. She's hot. Then, bam, I got shoved hard. She's only like 17 years older than me, and she looks great. Now leave me alone. Ashley screamed, turning around and running away. I stumbled, falling on the sidewalk at the alley entrance. Ashley's words rung in my ears as I was dragged into the alley. There were 9 of them. I counted them all, and I remember them clearly. They did things that nearly killed me. By the time I got to the hospital, my insides were trashed. I lost a kidney, my intestines were ruptured, and I needed a hysterectomy from blood loss. And my baby, barely 3 months along, was gone. After 26 hours of surgery, the doctor told me I was so damaged I'd never have kids. I couldn't even, go to the bathroom normally. I'd need a colostomy bag for life. It was a total nightmare, but the worst part was my husband blaming me for killing his baby, saying I was disgusting. And the adopted daughter I'd risked my life for? Instead of calling the cops, she posted some video trashing me. Mom got knocked up and went out partying, killed my baby brother. Should I forgive her? The internet went crazy. Everyone told me to die. They called me a slut, a whore, said I was so desperate for male attention. The nastiest labels you can imagine got slapped on me. I lawyered up ready to fight. I wanted to put those thugs behind bars, but my adopted daughter and my husband showed up to lie for them. My mom was seeing some bartender then. She didn't even come to pick up Ashley that day. I was the one who picked up Ashley, my husband said. I couldn't believe they were saying this to my face. I actually threw up blood from the shock. The crime boss pulled strings to make all the evidence disappear, and I lost the case miserably. My lawyer, a friend for years, was furious. Then came another wave of online hate, even worse than before. You killed your kid. With a skank mom like that, they're better off dead. Such a tramp, trying to play innocent. Good thing the law doesn't let anyone off the hook. Why are you still alive? Blaming your own daughter? You have to know that will mess her up. You don't deserve to be a mom, or even to live. I fell into a deep depression. Just when I was planning to divorce him and cut Ashley out of my life, she and my husband Mark messed with the gas alarm, shut all the windows and doors, locked the deadbolt, and loosened the gas line. Because I'd lost my sense of smell, I didn't notice a thing. The second I flipped the light switch, a huge explosion blew me across the room. I was burned everywhere, and my insides were all messed up from the blast. With my last breath, Ashley sneered, "Here's a secret. Your hubby and I have been hooking up for ages. Now all your money is ours." And that was it. I died right there. To God or someone must have heard me because I woke up here with all that hate. I cranked the wheel to the right, just looped around the block. There's this coffee shop with a big window on the second floor, a perfect view of that alley entrance. Ashley was still arguing with those punks. They were all over her, and she was crying, too scared to fight back. Then my phone started ringing. It was Ashley. I waited till the last second to answer. "Hello?" They hung up immediately. Some redhead grabbed Ashley's phone and started swearing. I was too far away to hear exactly what he was saying, but it was nasty. Maybe 2 minutes later, Ashley walked right into the alley with those guys. I finished my coffee, real slow, then went downstairs. I got to the school, acted all worried, asked the security guard. Then I called Ashley's teacher, Mrs. Davis. She's this 30-something woman, and she's all about money. Ashley always brags about how rich her mom is, and she made me dress up when I came to school. So Ashley is the school's darling. All the kids follow her around and the teacher kisses her butt, even though she's always at the bottom of the class. So Mrs. Davis practically ran out to meet me. "Oh, Ashley's mom, I'm so sorry to keep you waiting. Do you know where Ashley is?" I acted super worried. "No, I can't get through to her. I'm so worried." "Did she seem upset today?" Mrs. Davis hemmed and hawed, didn't say a thing. I was ready to explode, and my husband Mark showed up just then. He started yelling before he even got to me. "What kind of mother are you? You can't even pick up your daughter? You're useless. Call her. What if something happens to her?" I looked at him, real calm, because I was feeding him. He usually didn't talk to me that way. He only does that with Ashley. How obvious can you get? Last time I was totally blind. Mark saw my face and got nervous. Realized he'd gone too far. He tried to backpedal. "I'm just so scared, baby. Don't be mad. Let's just find Ashley." Mrs. Davis chimed in too. I got all frantic again and turned to Mrs. Davis. "Do you have Ashley's friends' numbers? Can you call them, see if they know anything?" Mrs. Davis practically jumped at the chance to help. She called around, then asked if some of the kids would help search. She's not subtle. She was thinking exactly what I was, and gave me a step up. I gave her a grateful look as she gave me the names and numbers of some people that I could call. Soon enough, a bunch of kids and teachers were searching. Everyone broke into groups, searched everywhere, and it was all for nothing. Ashley's phone was still off. Mark was losing it. I pulled out my phone and called the cops. I'd wanted to do that in the first place, but Mark stopped me. I saw a flicker of something in his eyes. Looks like there's a lot I didn't know about Ashley, but now Mark probably realizes Ashley is really in trouble, so he didn't say a thing. Usually the police don't take missing persons reports until 24 hours have passed, but I mentioned she was the daughter of a big businessman, so they showed up in minutes. I'd already done a few fake sobs. I cried for being too stupid to see the truth before, for letting those wolves into my life, for messing everything up, but I'd learned to hide my feelings, how to act. I was the perfect mother, begging the police, "Please, you have to find her, please." I even ran up to people on the street, showing them Ashley's picture on my phone. Any mom would have done the same thing. Nobody could say I didn't love Ashley. I loved her to death. More and more people were helping. Meanwhile, on a side street, that alley near the garbage dump, nobody wanted to go near it. That's why they missed it the first few times. But then this kid who has a crush on Ashley decided to take a look, and he heard screaming. The alley was so deep the sound was faint, and Ashley was already exhausted, barely able to make a sound. The kid freaked out, didn't go in, just told everyone. Soon enough, everyone was at the alley entrance entrance, police in the lead. They found Ashley at the end, naked, bruised all over, barely alive. The alley ended at a low wall. The thugs must have heard them coming and left Ashley there for everyone to see her shame. Mark was the first to break. He ran over and grabbed Ashley, held her close. He saw the injuries, what they'd done to her, and his jaw tightened, his eyes red. I ran over shaking and hugged her too. Ashley, please wake up. Call 911. Hurry. I took off my jacket to cover Ashley, and the paramedics got there right away. Ashley got rushed into surgery. Because they found her so fast, her insides weren't as bad as mine had been. The worst part was her bowels were pulled out and needed to be cut, and had got infected. And even though they saved her uterus, she'd probably never have kids. Compared to what I went through, it was nothing. I lost a kidney, my uterus, and my baby. Not to mention a lifetime of disability. Ashley hadn't cared about what happened to me. What would she feel now that it happened to her? I didn't feel happy, only a bottomless pit of hate. Mark was a mess outside the operating room. He looked at me like I was the enemy. Why didn't you pick up Ashley sooner? If you'd been there, none of this would have happened. She's only 18 years old. What's she going to do now? You're a terrible mother. I glared at him. So you're saying this is my fault? You were the one always offering to pick her up. I called you today to say I had something else, and you rushed right over? Mark turned white. I scoffed. By that logic, it's all your fault. What could be more important than Ashley's safety? School gets out at 3 o'clock, but you didn't even call me until 3:30. So how can you act like this is my fault? If anything bad happens to Ashley, I'll never forgive you. I felt nothing but hate and anger, and I bet there was a reason why Mark couldn't pick her up that day. Something fishy was going on. And Ashley? She seemed like she knew those thugs. Poor Ashley was in intensive care for a week. Really, she was out of danger the first night, but Mark wouldn't let it go. He insisted on using all the hospital's resources for her. I'm playing the good mother, so I didn't object. I'm going to take care of Ashley, find those thugs, put them in jail, and get revenge for her. The next day, Mark was begging me to drop the case with the police. Ashley's a girl. If this gets out, how can she ever live a normal life? How thoughtful of him. He had never said these things when I went through the same thing, even though I am also a woman. Did he ever think that I also felt pain? I see now he only cares about Ashley. How could I let him get away with it? So you're saying we should let those animals who hurt Ashley walk free? No, no way, he said. He looked furious. I'm going to kill them. What a great father. Then he looked at me, all hopeful. You have money. Why don't you pay someone to kill them all? You're her mother. It would be wrong, but it's understandable. He stopped, stared, and then I stared. I felt so bad that I had married a monster. Paying for murder is against the law, Mark. I don't do illegal things. We should trust the government. The law will take care of it. I didn't drop the charges. I hired some of the best lawyers in the country. I want the law to put those animals away for as long as possible. I want justice for my daughter. My friend Summer was one of them. She asked, from what I've heard, the ringleader has connections to the mob. It's going to be hard. To make it work, we might have to go to the media. But that would expose Ashley to— She didn't finish, but everyone knew what she meant. I hesitated like I was making a tough decision. Bad guys should be punished. Do whatever you have to do. Just make sure Ashley's face doesn't get out there. She's a strong, honest girl. I know she'll support it. That was how she told me about doing it in the past. Mom, we have to let everyone know about what happened to you. I can't let you suffer like this. So I'll get you justice this time.